Welcome to Small Business Talks. My name is Shiraz Sadiq, and this is the Entrepreneurial Resilience Series brought to you by Gauvreau Accounting and Tax Law Advisory and Canadian SME Business Magazine. Established in 2008, Gauvreau Accounting and Tax Law Advisory is one of the fastest growing professional services firm in all of North America. Their team of financial and business advisors supports small business owners on their path to financial mastery through strategic accounting, tax, bookkeeping, legal, and proactive business coaching services. Their team challenges entrepreneurs to step into the confidence and courage they need to overcome obstacles to build wealth, their business, and increase their impact to change the world. In today's episode, we get to chat with Robert Gauvreau, founder of Gauvreau Accounting and Tax Law Advisory. Oh, but you are in for so much more. It's his book, his $1 Million a Year program, and as you will see, just being in his presence makes you want to jump out of your seat and get to work. Now here is Robert Gauvreau, founder of Gauvreau Accounting and Tax Law Advisory. Let's go. And welcome everyone. My name is Shiraz Sadiq, host of Small Business Talks. And today I have the privilege to not only introduce Robert Gauvreau of Gauvreau and Associates and law firm and accounting firm and all the other professional services that you undertake, but someone who I would consider a friend. Robert, welcome to the podcast today.
So excited to be here. This is, it's going to be amazing.
Well, you know, if there's one person that can match my energy, I've been told that I come with a little bit of energy. It certainly is you. Now, you taken on the responsibility, really, of the Canadian Entrepreneurship Series. Why is this series important to you?
Yeah, you know what? Entrepreneurship in general is super important to me, right? We essentially started our firm back in 2008 and focused on building a CPA firm initially on working with entrepreneurs. And so for me, we live, breathe entrepreneurship. Our business is growing, our clients are growing. So for me, getting involved with Canadian SME and the Entrepreneurship podcast, you know, this is just a perfect fit for us and we're super passionate about it.
Okay, so obviously being in this space, you support entrepreneurs literally on a daily basis. But I want to take this from a different angle though.
Okay.
Let's go back to little Bobby growing up, right? And now he's a teenager and he decides, mommy, when I grow up, I want to be if you were to fill in that blank, what was it that your desire was growing up, you know, going through high school? Hey, this is or did you even know?
Well, so if we start off younger than the high school piece, I always wanted to be a helicopter pilot, to be honest. So this might be the first time that I've actually spoke about that.
Okay.
But it was, and then as I evolved and got into high school, I decided I wanted to become a teacher, which was great. So ultimately, you know, long story short, we hit the end of the series here. I am a bit of a teacher, but it's more so to entrepreneurs. Now, ended up in high school, wanted to become a teacher, got into university, but didn't get into teachers college immediately. So focused on applying for business administration.
Okay.
And then once I got in there, I was like, okay, this business thing, this entrepreneurship thing is incredible. I love it. But I'm also graduating with 2,000 people. So how the hell do I differentiate myself with 2,000 people who are coming out with the same degree? And I just happened to be good at accounting and thought, what a cool opportunity. It's an older sort of profession. It's a little impersonal in a lot of instances. And I'm like, okay, energy, a little bit of personality, let's say. And
well, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, he just described an accountant with a personality. That's kind of rare. Well, you know, how did those two things come together? Now, I'm not saying that accountants don't have personalities. What I am saying is there's such a focus on numbers and black and white that how did you create space for who you are as a person in accounting and then mixing that with what you're about to speak about, your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, you know, it's when we started to have the idea of jumping into accounting world, again, it was the idea that we could do something different, right? And it was always the idea in every entrepreneur wants to have an impact in some way, wants to create something extraordinary. And for us, we went, okay, this is something that I know we can build out and be completely different from what everybody else expects.
Okay.
And then, you know, pairing that with the whole love entrepreneurship and business man, oh man, so many CPAs and accountants, especially in traditional public accounting firms, they'll say, well, we're not business owners, we're accountants, right? Well, we're business owners and we're entrepreneurs. And, our passion for entrepreneurship paired with, running our own business, that makes us a little bit different than the traditional CPA firm.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is you had the opportunity to compete with 1,999 other graduates with a similar education background degree.
Yes.
And you could have gone to a number of the big names, but you decided to start your own firm.
Well, you have to, so there was a little bit of a sidetrack in there, right? Because as a CPA, you have to do an articling process.
Right.
So I spent 3 years with one of the bigger firms.
Okay.
Learned a lot, learned what I didn't like and what I did like. And, when you get into a larger firm, a lot of times you're doing audit work, you're doing government, nonprofit reporting, and ultimately, that wasn't something that really got me excited. Okay. So it wasn't bringing my energy. And then looking at, different leadership styles, it was, maybe part of an environment that I wasn't overly excited about either. So that challenged me to say, can we create our own environment? Can we create something that we're excited to come to work every day?
Okay, so I just want to capture that a little bit.
Yeah.
One of the reasons you stepped out into your own journey to eventually launch, and your name's on the building as we saw in the intro, and congrats for the astounding explosive growth that you've experienced. One of the reasons was you saw an opportunity to bring out more of you, and you felt limited in a role by a title and a definition of a job description?
Yeah, ultimately we were, at the time, they were looking at how I would eventually become the next partner at the firm, and which was interesting because I didn't necessarily want to be partners with the people who were partners.
Okay.
Right? So that was a challenge for me. Okay. And then ultimately when that conversation started happening, that made me start to think, okay, now we can create something extraordinary. I now see the picture of what it is we want to build, which has evolved. Right? So from day one, we considered being just an accounting firm and a tax specialized firm focusing on small business. But now we've evolved that out into business coaching, legal services. So, it continues to evolve and will continue to evolve along the journey. But for sure, we looked at that as an opportunity to say, I think we can now focus on entrepreneurs and small business owners and really support that market and understand it better than anybody else.
Okay, so how did you wrestle with that? You have vision A and you're going down vision A, and now all of a sudden vision A becomes A plus B. Did you feel like, hey, I'm deviating? No, I have to do, because many entrepreneurs feel like that, or like, no, but I really want to do it this way, and now I have to do it that way. How do you overcome that instead of it being or feeling like I have to? No, this is a good thing. How did that switch happen in your mind to embrace a different path than what you set out on?
Yeah. I think one thing though about entrepreneurship, you never have to do. Like, the beauty of entrepreneurship is the ability to choose. And, I think any passionate entrepreneur has the opportunity to go out and build something that they want to do. And, one of the criteria of us building this firm was, I want to build somewhere where people enjoy coming to work. Right? That's not the traditional CPA firm, right? I want high energy. I want people to come in and collaborate and enjoy working together.
Let's just do a quick litmus test. Ladies and gentlemen, do you guys actually enjoy working here? Yeah. Yeah, I hear you a little louder. Yeah? Okay. All right.
Wow, they're good liars too.
Applause over there. Some applause over there. He's kissing babies in that corner over there. He'd be the next politician right here. So, that culture now.
Yeah.
I just want to pivot a little bit to culture of what it means to work at Gauvreau. Why? Why do I want to work for you? Because you're doing something that you didn't want to do, and you're asking them to do something that you didn't want to do. A little hard-hitting question.
Yep.
You didn't want to work for somebody because you felt there was more of you to bring to the table. How do you create space and allow them to be entrepreneurial in their roles to bring more of themselves to their responsibilities?
Yeah, great question. Well, first thing, when you come off the elevator on the 5th floor of our office, you see our core values right above the elevator: people, passion, and integrity. So it all starts back in our recruitment process.
Okay.
We find people who have aligned values, which is super exciting, right? So people who join us are excited to join us for what it is that we're doing, right? That's kind of a criteria number one. And two, it's amazing how many high performance people that we can continue to build in one group. So we're just shy of 50 people right now, and everybody brings that energy and that passion.
Okay, now, hold on a second. Little Bobby with a dream to be a helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now advances through his journey of self-discovery, figuring out where can you apply more of yourself on a daily basis. You started off on your own, and then you have 50 employees. How does that feel, knowing that you've escaped that gravitational pull to keep you small and advance into a medium-sized firm? How does that feel inside from a satisfaction perspective? Or you're like, nah, we're not there yet. How do you celebrate at the exact same time as staying hungry?
Great question. So to answer the first part, how does it make you feel? Very satisfied, right?
Okay.
There's a feeling of satisfaction that we're progressing, that we're advancing, that we're growing, right? There's something, and every entrepreneur feels that we're making progress. Mm-hmm. The other part is, holy shit, we've got 50 employees, right? There's that element of that. And I feel like every entrepreneur, I think it's 70+% of small businesses have no employees, right? So the majority of people don't. And maybe part of it is the holding back of going, I now have these extra responsibilities. So I'll tell you, when COVID hit 2 years ago, back in 2020, the first thing I thought of is and we didn't have 50 people at the time, but I have 50 families that I'm now responsible for. I've got to make sure that I'm adapting. And I can tell you, for the first couple months, I don't think I slept at all, because I had a responsibility to my family and to my extended family with all of my team to make sure they were taken care of. And that's terrifying, right? As a business owner. And that continues, every time we add a new department, right? We added a legal firm to our business to help support small business owners with their legal needs. And when you go to add that from scratch,
wow,
it's terrifying. Wow. There's an element of that makes the little hairs on the back of your neck stick up. But that's also the passion and excitement around entrepreneurship as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're in conversation with Robert Gauvreau, founder of Gauvreau. Again, they do taxation, they do accounting, legal, and other professional services as well. He's grown his firm from one person to 50 and growing. We'll be right back.
Successful entrepreneurs and business owners who achieve greatness get there because they have the confidence to do extraordinary things. They have the confidence to make informed decisions based on their knowledge of 3 areas: where they are now, where they want to go, and the steps they need to get there as quickly and successfully as possible. Successful entrepreneurs and business owners get that confidence by being backed by North America's greatest business and financial advisors. At Gauvreau Accounting Tax Law Advisory, we support entrepreneurs and small businesses by giving them the confidence they need to achieve greatness. To be the best, you need to be backed by the best. Don't wait. Get started on your journey to greatness today.
And welcome back. Just before we took that short break, I did promise you a little bit of reality TV. The realities of what the entrepreneurial journey represents. And it's not all about the glory of the 50 employees. It's glory, but there's also a little bit of gory as well, right? And can you talk about one or two of the moments where, and invariably, if you're an entrepreneur, you've had egg on your face. If you're an entrepreneur, you have failed and failed miserably. But that's the beauty of this. We have the character and the mindset to get up every time we shrink or fall. Can you describe a couple of those moments that you've experienced?
For sure. And let's be real, right? We fail every day. Some of them are so small that nobody would really identify it. And maybe when we start talking about some of the tips, I'll share, some insights from some of my daily fails on how we need to continue to do better. But I would say if I had to pinpoint one situation that happened, probably 10 years ago now, which is amazing to think that we've been doing this for that long. 10 years ago, we looked at growth through acquisition strategy. Okay. And we purchased a small CPA firm that the individual was getting ready to retire, and it was a great setup, similar clientele, good fit for us. So we thought. right? Again, the individual is supposed to be retiring. What a great growth strategy, right? When you can add, $400,000, $500,000 in revenue immediately without having to do any marketing or any targeting or any of podcasting or any of that stuff, So we did this, and the culture fit was absolutely zero. And unfortunately, when you grab two groups and you put them together and the culture isn't completely aligned, things don't work out the way that you want. So we actually had a couple positive things happen from it, but we had some negative, right? It set back our culture a little bit, which, as we kind of talked about, culture is a big thing for me, and making sure that our environment is really, really positive. And for a short period of time, I sacrificed that for the betterment of a short-term growth strategy.
Okay, so just before you continue, you're saying that there are negotiables and non-negotiables in how you set up and grow your business.
Absolutely.
And as soon as you compromise on one of those non-negotiables, it doesn't end up the way that you would have hoped it.
Absolutely. And
so is that like a clear takeaway that you would suggest to the audience today, that if in the entrepreneurial life, there's going to be moments where you should stick to...
Totally. Yeah. So for me, and sometimes you don't know what those non-negotiables are until you violated it. And for me, right, we've got a really, really strong culture and people, passion, and integrity, what we focus on, right? Innovation is likely our fourth, if we needed to add another word. But we didn't have that tight core value outlined what the firm meant to us as a team until after that happened, right? And then I realized I can't compromise those values for anything, but I need to get really clear on what those values are, right? That needs to happen. And now I know culture is a non-negotiable for me.
So what I'm also hearing then is that takes time. It's not like I'm opening my doors and these are our values. This is our culture. What I'm hearing is, and it's important for our audience to know, elements like values and culture take time to reveal themselves to you as you I love the word that you used, violate them. That's when you realize what you stand for and what you don't stand for.
Yeah, and sometimes it takes you making that mistake to realize what it is that you're actually trying to accomplish. That's right? Fantastic. And again, for me, I always wanted to create a firm that I enjoyed coming to work. I didn't realize that clashing cultures or not having a defined value system, especially if you're looking to grow and scale. Guys, we've got 50 employees. If we weren't aligned on core values, we'd be all over the place and we would not be one of Canada's fastest growing companies right now, right? We're there because everybody is aligned, they're passionate, they care about people, each other and the clients that we serve, and they will not compromise their integrity. That's a big one, right? We need to make sure that we're aligned that way, and that's helped contribute to our success and will continue to probably be the most core element of our success as we continue to grow.
Wow. Okay. Now, earlier, you did tell us that you enjoy teaching. There's something about you that likes to lift up other people and invest in others in a worthwhile way. In January, this year, just a little while ago, the $1 Million Club. The thing, and I'll give you an opportunity to speak about it. The thing I enjoyed about it, it's not like it's a knockoff Grant Cardone. It's not like it's a Tony Robbins type of setup. It has your fingerprints all over this program. What is the $1 Million Year?
Yeah, well, and just to take a step back, it is influenced by those people who are doing great things. I will say that. I spent a lot of time with Tony Robbins. I've spent a lot of time learning from Grant Cardone. Those guys have certainly influenced my entrepreneurial journey, but we launched the $1 Million Year this year, and it's a community. It's an entrepreneurship community focusing on small business and how to help advance small business owners to realizing their $1 Million Year, whatever that means to them, right? If it's creating a business that's got $1 million in revenue, if it's growing $1 million in revenue, if it's making $1 million in profit, if it's building $1 million company, whatever that $1 Million Year is for you, we've got the strategies in place from learned and gained knowledge. I spend more than $100,000 a year on investing in learning and training for myself so I can bring that to our community.
Wow. Okay.
And I say $100,000, but it's absolutely substantially more than that, because the number one thing we can invest in is in ourselves. You look at someone like Elon Musk, right? When you think of the epitome of entrepreneurship, it's Elon Musk. He invests so much value in himself. He's taken companies and himself from zero to billionaire status to zero to billionaire status. Again, why? Because he's invested in his knowledge and his understanding of how to get there. And that is the biggest thing entrepreneurs can invest in. I invest in it so that I can bring it back to our community and help advance that community to the next level. That's what our $1 Million a Year program is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're in conversation with Robert, founder of Gauvreau and Associates. But again, it's so hard to encapsulate what they do by sharing their name. You can find their details on our website, and you can reach out to him directly as well. His contact information is available on the screen right now. This is probably why you were so eager to help get this Canadian Entrepreneurship Series out there, because it really is your heartbeat. It really is who you are as far as investing in others and lifting their understanding of what it takes. Now, what are some, you've already shared a lot with us. What are one or two more clear takeaways that in your experience, you've seen entrepreneurs succeed? You've also seen them not be as successful as they would like to see themselves, or in fulfilling the capacity to which they could perform. What would you say to those folks?
And it's interesting, right? I am a CPA, and a lot of things fall back to numbers, right?
Okay.
Unfortunately, they do, because numbers don't lie, right? We can all feel certain things in our business, right? We can feel like we're doing well, but unless we actually have a clear picture of what's going on in our business, then we don't really know what it is that we're doing that's working or what it is that's not working. So the number one thing I would say for every entrepreneur is to make sure you get very clear on your numbers, right? Make sure that all of your bookkeeping is up to date. Make sure that you can see the financial reports inside your business to know if you're winning the game, right? It's interesting, if I can tell a quick side story.
Yeah, of course.
I use this analogy often. It's going to the Raptors game, right? Toronto was in the championship a couple years ago. Imagine pulling into the Raptors game halfway through the game because of traffic, you ended up late, and you go in and there's no scoreboard. You walk into the game and there's no scoreboard. Everybody's cheering both sides, right? You've got Raptors fans, you've got the opposing team fans, they're all cheering, but you walk in and you have no scoreboard. You have no idea if the Raptors are actually winning, how much time's left, because how much time is left in the game changes the strategy for the coach. So you also don't know.
Just repeat that for our benefit.
Absolutely. If you don't know how much time is left, right? Because depending on where you're heading, your strategy is going to change.
Right.
Do you want to hit these growth targets over a short period of time? Are you on offense or are you on defense, right? Are you defending this situation? Because if you've got the lead, you're playing maybe a little bit more defense. If you're behind, you're playing a little bit more offense. The same goes for entrepreneurship. We need to see the scoreboard to understand what the strategy needs to be to win the game. And I feel like that is such an important element for entrepreneurs to understand. If you don't have your financial clarity inside your business, you won't know what strategy you need to be successful. And I think that is going to be the number one takeaway.
Thank you for sharing that. But out of that falls, you said strategy and how to operate in season and out of season, depending on, hey, if it's closer to the end of the month, we have a target of 14 units because we might have to, I don't know, maybe get a tattoo on our arm if we don't hit a number. I don't know, something crazy like that. But then you blow it away by hitting 20 that month. But how will you know if you succeeded or not if you don't know what the score is?
Absolutely.
So I'm hearing a couple of different things. It drives strategy, numbers, but it also drives an understanding of where you are from a scoreboard perspective.
Yeah, and then you need to drill down, right? So you see the scoreboard and you go, okay, so we go back to the basketball analogy. I'm not a basketball expert, so I'm trying real hard.
That's okay. You're sitting beside me. You qualify just by osmosis. We're good.
So basketball, right? You take 2-point shots, you take 3-point shots. So you need to know what sort of combination of shots you need to take to get the score you need, right? And
Makes
what
sense.
we need to do in our business is understand what is driving those points. Right? In our business, how many sales do we have to make weekly? What's our average transaction value? How many leads do we need to make a certain number of sales? These are critical drivers inside our business that are so very important. If we don't understand these elements of our business, we don't understand how we're going to achieve our targets.
Wow.
And that would be, number 2 in business and entrepreneurship for me. Understand what you need to do to realize your goals.
Wow. And there's so much more that we're going to have the opportunity to glean from Robert over this entire series. Thank you for your partnership. Thank you for, again, investing in the lives of entrepreneurs in a worthwhile way. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We're in conversation with Robert Gauvreau of Gauvreau and Associates. As always, Robert did not disappoint, and you can see why so many businesses are benefiting from his team's expertise, helping them to become one of the fastest growing firms across North America. Thank you to the team at Canadian SME Business Magazine for making this series possible, and thank you for spending time investing in your business to move forward with Small Business Talks. The Entrepreneurial Resilience Series has been brought to you by Gauvreau Accounting, Tax Law, and Advisory, helping you reach new levels of financial success. Visit GauvreauCPA.ca to reach those levels you feel your business is capable of. This is Shiraz Sadiq, paving a way for your prosperity.